Global Issues, which is on the topics and article databases pages of the research guide, is a good place for you to get started in finding organizations that are involved in your policy area. Remember, you can browse issues. Once you have identified, though, a rough topic area, you can also start to keyword search here. Going to type in tariffs. I'm going to run my search. And here are all the categories of kinds of sources we get. And then here are the sources down here. I'm going to go into this first scholarly journal article on making AFCFTA trade agreement a reality. We're going to go into it. Here we are. In an article, start reading through the article to learn both more about your policy topic area and also start scanning for sources and organizations mentioned. You can look in the text itself, in the subject area, and especially scholarly resources may have a bibliography listed at the end for additional reading or involved organizations. Then you can take those organizations' names onto Google to find out more about them. You can also repeat this process in other databases for finding organization names. If you keep seeing the same names over and over, you've probably dug deep enough into the organizations involved in that area. One thing you can do that's helpful is to limit the organization's name in Google by country code. This allows you to see the perspective on that organization and information on that organization from the perspective of the country or countries you're looking at implementing policy in. You can find a lookup of the two-digit country codes on the Websites tab of the Research Guide. And the complete list is under the International Data box. And when you have that, all you need to do is come onto Google and put in SITE colon and the two-digit country code. JP stands for Japan. So when I run this search, I'm going to get back results that mention the World Trade Organization from Japanese websites. It is important to remember, not always, but a lot of times when you work with non-English pages outside of the United States, you're going to have to translate the page using Google, translate.google.com. Some of the pages, though, will be in English already. Google Translate can also be found on the same place on the research guide, the websites, as the country code list. You can get to Google Translate easily here if you need to translate a web page. A lot, but not all of the organizations that are involved in your policy area are going to have websites. So you want to find those websites and you want to evaluate the organization and see what they're involved with, how they're involved with. How can you start to do that? Well, you want to take a look at a few sources that are underneath the Evaluating Your Resources page on the guide. A big one you can look at is the CRAP test. And each letter stands for an item as part of the acronym: currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. And you can ask yourself the questions here about the information in each category as you look. If the organization does have a website, you want to look for things like their mission on the website, about us, contact us, and see what they have to say. Why do they say they exist? What role do they have in policy? Where do they follow which other policies that are already out there. How do they support current policy? How do they look for solutions? You can also look at an organization's reputation. That is, what are other sources out there online saying about that source? To look at an organization's reputation outside of that organization's page, you want to use the site limiter again, only structured a little bit differently. You put in the name of your organization and you do the minus sign. The minus sign tells Google without the following site. So minus sign, SITE, colon, and then it does require you to know the name, the URL rather, of your organization. So you put that in after negative site. And when you run this search, you're going to get all of the results that are not from the World Trade Organization, but mention the World Trade Organization somehow. So you can see, again, what other organizations, other businesses, other groups, governments are saying about the World Trade Organization, and that can help you get a clear picture and an overall perspective of that organization's purpose, success, whole picture reliability, and how they fit into the community. If you have questions as you research, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You can look for the Ask a Librarian forum in your D2L shell for the course. And also you can reach the reference librarians anytime the library is open by email, the chat IM that's at the bottom of the library's homepage, and you are also able to text message us your questions. Thank you very much for watching.